This is, I rarely do these. I did one on my Glock 40. I rarely do gun reviews, but this is a gun review because this is a very special gun. Even the most well educated uh, gun guys are not aware of this. What is this? Well, when you look at this, what do you think? What does that look like to you? A lot of people on first glance might say it's Schofield, right? Well, kinda. What this is called a Smith and Wesson, model 1891. There was three models of this. Now, what you're looking at is um, somewhat of the rarest version of these, because I mean the first ones were probably the rarest, but a second model 6-inch barrel, that's very rare, very very rare. Um, and that's what this is. Smith and Wesson, model 1891. So what they did is, and let me just show you. Pull up there, it pops up. That pushes up to kick the casing out. Drops back down. Drop your single shot, right? 22. You drop your 22 long rifle in there. Close it up, and you're ready. Cock that hammer back. These were some of the most accurate handguns in the world at the time. They were used in Olympic single shot competition. Very, very rare guns, guys. So um, let me explain a little bit about the Smith& Wesson model 1891s. What they did is, there's so much that's not known about these, but what happened is they had a breakaway Smith and Wesson, excuse me, Smith and Wesson and 38 Special. Was it 38 Special or was it just 38? It might have been 38. I don't think it was 38 Special. It was 38. It was something else, but it was chambered in 38. Um, 38 Smith and Wesson maybe. And what they started wanting is one chambered in 22 long rifle. Now, the first ones weren't thin like this, right? It actually had kind of the revolver, roundness, in, like I said, 38. And then when they wanted to make it in 22, just for like competition shooting, single shot, they kept that roundness. All they did was just go, okay, so they just chambered it in 22 basically, and it didn't have options to put in multiple 22s, but it was a single action. It just had that roundish, revolver look there. And so they chambered it in 22. They didn't make very many of them, but that was the first model Smith & Wesson 1891. They had them chambered in 38 and 22, single shots, both of them. And, that was that. The next model, they said, well, what is the point in having, this bulge? It's not a revolver. So let's simplify this. And that's what they did. This is the second model when they simplified it. They removed that bulge and they made it just thin here, just the basics, because that's all they needed. So you didn't have that round revolver bulge anymore. You had a very thin profile. Okay, most of these had a 10-inch barrel. There was 10-inch, 8-inch, and 6-inch. 6-inch being the rarest, and that's what this is, 6-inch. But they had the 10-inch barrel because this is again used in for competition shooting. And that you gotta understand that was huge back then. Competition shooting, like handgun bullseye accuracy shooting, was huge. I mean, even to the point of where it wasn't on an Olympic scale. Just guys in the backyard. Hey, I'm going over Jim's house to go have a shooting competition with him in his backyard. I mean, this was what people did. Now, this wasn't just a Wild West thing. Now, this type of thing carried on well up into the 60s. People in a lot of places down south, competition shooting is what people did. Their pastime, their fun is just what people did. And now competition shooting has taken all types of forms, and it's awesome. So anyway, they made this, and these are single action only. Okay, so you have to pull that hammer back to get that trigger pull. Okay, I weighed this trigger, but I don't remember what it was. I know it's really light. Let's find out what it is. Hold on just a moment. All right, let's see. I remember wasn't the easiest thing to get the best angle on here. Holy moly. That is 1.8. 1.8 pound trigger. Let's try that one more time. Yep, 1.9 on that one. So 1.8, 1.9 pound trigger, right? Awesome trigger. So you have a very light trigger, and usually you would have a 10-inch barrel. They made these to where, this right, you can unscrew this and you can put a 10-inch or 8-inch barrel on here. So they were interchangeable. For the time and what it was meant for, to be honest, it was genius. They made 4,000 of these, I believe it was, and then they made the third model. The easiest one to find is the third model. Now, first of all, understand that these are hard to find, period. I don't care if it's model 1, 2, or 3. These are hard to find, no matter what barrel length, period. Luckily, this one is in just amazing shape. Amazing shape what this is in. And so the Model 3s, the big change was it was now double and single action. So you didn't have to pull the trigger back each time. You could have that trigger forward, have the hammer forward, pull that trigger back, and as you're pulling the trigger, that engages the hammer to go back and then forward. That's what double action means. You have two actions happening at once. And so you would see the on the third models, the triggers are a lot more curved than like this one is. They were curved a lot more, and they would kick out to a little further out. And that was the third model 1891. The other thing about this that makes it rare is it has the shorter handle. They increased the handles on these, that come down about right here. And so you usually had a 10-inch barrel with a longer grip, and that just allowed for people with bigger. I got small hands. I got really small hands, so this just happens to fit my hand perfect. Like my pinky is slightly hanging off, but it's perfectly comfortable. Finger all the way cut up underneath that, and I come in and I have a perfect grip. So they made it double action and single action, and they made six, 6,000 or nine, no, 6,000. Think about it, they made about 6,000 of the third models. Um, I had all this information uh, like perfect few months back. Um, but yeah, they I think they made like 6,000 of the third models. They made more third models than they made second. They made more second models than they had made first models. So um, there was a famous shooter, and I do not remember his name. You can Google it, but there's actually his gun is for sale. Someone has his gun that he used in the Olympics with one of these. I believe his was a third model, and 10-inch barrel, but he has all three barrel sizes that came with it. And I want to say, does it have a signature on there? Not sure, but it was definitely that guy's gun, who was very famous back in those days. He was like one of the best single shot, one handed Olympic shooters in the world. And that gun was going for, I believe, $6,000. Now these go for, I mean, these are expensive, man. When you come across these, they can sell for anywhere between, if it's in if it's in not so good condition, let me say that, they didn't go anywhere from $700 for one of these on up to 3,000 for one in uh, awesome, excellent condition. And then of course you have the which model is it, which the person wants to get their hands on, barrel length, if they have other um, barrel lengths that come with it, and the handle lengths also. So yeah, these they're worth some money, and they're just, here's the thing. I went and took it out to shoot, and it is addicting, man. Like, if you're gonna go shoot one of these, you get your hand on one of these and you're gonna go shoot it, take out some time. Take out a few hours, because it's so fun. 22 ammo is cheap as heck, first of all. And then you're dealing with a gun that shoots one at a time. One shot, break open, kick out, put another one in, close it, aim, and do it all again. And it's so fun. You're trying to get these amazing groups, beat your last shot, with these 22s, and push the distance out there and see what you can do. And it's fun. It gets addicting. Shooting these things are crazy fun. A great gun for younger kids to shoot. Very safe. Um, so it's not just a collector's gun. These things are fun to shoot when you're out with your family or whatever, and you're out target practicing. These things are fun. Uh, in no way, shape, or form is this any way a self-defense firearm. Can you? Sure, you can. You got one shot to make it happen. But that's not what this is for. This is for competition shooting, and it's for and also you can have a lot of fun with your family and friends or whatever out shooting. So that's what this is. The writings on here say what is that? 22 long rifle CTG. You got your Smith and Wesson emblem there, Smith and Wesson emblem on the other side here. And on this gun, that's about all the markings you're going to get. I was able to find out approximately when this one was made by the serial number, and it was made in 1904, if I remember correct. It was made in 1904. It was made. These were made for 4 years. The second models, they were made for 4 years, and they went on the third model. And in those 4 years, they made approximately 1,000 a year, about that. And so with my mine being 13 plus 1,300 serial number plus, lets me know it was made in the second year that these were made. So and I believe that was 1904, if I remember correctly. So yeah, fun gun and extremely rare. Smith and Wesson model 1891, single shot 22 long rifle. Whammy out.